Happy New Year to all you listeners. It's a new year. 2025 has arrived. Coley, how was your new year?
My new year. Hello, Ben. Happy New Year to you too, and all our YouTube viewers. How was my new year? Crap. But yeah.
It fell on a Wednesday. New Year's Eve fell on a Wednesday.
I'm almost anti-New Year. I've never had a good New Year. We're either playing, training, or just like...
Or everyone else is having fun but us.
But they're having fun. I've been going out when I was like 17, 18, like 20, and you go out, you get charged 3 times the price for a taxi cab. You have to like book in some joint that's like, oh, everywhere's pre-booked. And it's like, it's crap. It's overpriced. It's rubbish. That's New Year. Next.
Let's think about, right, because the New Year calendar, or I suppose the Christmas calendar, New Year calendar and all that, for like us,
it's worked out all right this year. Playing on like, the weekends have come, New Year and Christmas have been Wednesdays, so it's been all right. Previously we've had them on Saturdays and stuff. And it's always like, I do like playing games this time of year because you get massive crowds, normally quiet, everyone's festive, and it's just good. You know what I mean? It's quite, which is another thing about, and I'm going to rant about this, but like when they say like, oh, summer rugby, do away with that. You kind of do away with 2 big games of the year, 2 big gates of the year where lots of people are there, aren't they? So yeah, fuck you, summer rugby.
no, I'm all for summer rugby.
Yeah, but then you're doing pre-season now.
You would potentially be doing a bit of pre-season.
But imagine plodding around doing fitness in pretty much a frozen wasteland that would be the training fields at this time of year.
Yeah, but then the training would then be cancelled.
But it wouldn't. We'd just train on the car park instead, which would be slightly softer than the pitches.
What about, I'm trying to think of some New Year, like New Year's Eve and things like that. Often we've been in hotels for away games and things like that. I remember we played Exeter on New Year's Eve for one time, didn't we? And then we played Exeter away, finished the game, we had a taxi waiting for us. Got pumped.
Yeah.
I think it was when like Johnny and George.
It was like you, me, Johnny and George. So 4 of us.
Was there anyone else?
And I think it's just 4 of us.
Okay.
Got in a taxi and drove to Brighton. May have stopped at a famous Scottish restaurant along the way. I think we took a picture.
We did.
It was McDonald's, but that Scottish restaurant, just for the reference.
We did take a picture.
Yeah. I've probably still got it on my phone somewhere. But yeah, went to Brighton. We must have got there.
We took a picture because we were like, wow.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah. They will remember this New Year forever. That's why we took the picture.
I roomed with Sam Simmons, who we just played against and beaten. I think he sort of came in. We both went around midnight. It was kind of like the fireworks going off. It was like, Happy New Year. See you in the morning. And I went to bed and that was it.
I was with Slady, I think.
Then we had like a 3-day England camp or 2-day England camp.
We did, but then the pitches were so bad down there that we actually couldn't train.
Yeah.
And then I remember going in the lobby and Dean Benton, the S&C high performance coach at the time, was there. And I was waiting for the lift and Eddie was like, but Dean, you're meant to be the best S&C in the world, mate. He's like, oh, I know. Happy New Year, Dino.
Yeah. I did get, I was informed by one member of the staff that they were in a staff meeting all that night. It was only when the fireworks went off, they were like, oh, that's New Year. And they just carried on straight through. So yeah, it could have been worse. We could have been in a meeting.
We could have been in a staff meeting.
Yeah.
But for us players, actually, we don't really get to celebrate it. And that's fine because I'm not a big New Year man, nor is yourself. No. But I would still like the choice of whether I would like to celebrate it or not. And for the last, a long time, I've never had that choice.
Yeah.
I want my freedom, Coley.
What are you saying, Ben?
I'm going to march in the office.
Yeah, they're
like, give Czech an ultimatum.
Yeah. Next year.
Yeah.
Get it in early. New Year. It's overrated. Most memorable New Year moment I've had is you counting down from 10 on. Actually, it was January the 1st/2nd. We played on the 1st.
Which is absolute spice, by the way.
It's not spice.
But please.
It's not spice. I remember it like yesterday. was in Kibworth, in the Coach and Horses pub. We're by the bar. It's January the 1st because we played earlier that day. We're like, oh, we'll have a New Year's celebration that night. Everyone's in there and you're like, right, yeah, 10 seconds to go. Countdown. So, go on then, Ben. 10, 9, 8, 6. Everyone's like, is he all right? Like,
I was clearly,
yeah, inebriated.
I'd had 28 pints.
I think you were driving, so I think you were pretty sober, mate.
Was I?
So that sums up. That is my most memorable. It wasn't even New Year's. It was the day after. It's New Year's Day. So yeah, that's pretty much.
We have to celebrate it when we can. Really, potentially, and we both haven't decided what we're doing yet. But this could have been our last New Year as rugby players.
Oh, and what a New Year it was! In bed by 10, brilliant.
So what are we going to do when we do finally hang up the boots? How are we going to celebrate our first New Year? Well, we have a choice in terms of what we celebrate.
Probably go to bed about 10. I was thinking, like, what you see all the celebrations around the world, like the Sydney Harbour Bridge, where they like fireworks and that kind of stuff. You think, oh, it'd be great to be there. Then you're like, would it? I'll just watch it on TV.
It's a long flight.
Would it be London? Oh, great. Is it? Because by the time it's done, it's just like, right.
Where's the taxis?
Let's travel 3 hours home. I'll get a hotel room that I'm paying full whack for, but I'm not actually in last night because I'm actually in it today. So
I think I'd go as far as say I prefer bonfire night over New Year.
Really?
We get fireworks there as well.
Yeah.
Sparklers.
Yeah. Food.
And a big fire to stay warm. You don't get that
but
on New Year. You can be like waiting, you say, for the London fireworks display. But you could be freezing. You could be so far back that you can see because fireworks go in the sky. So unless
normally New Year's fireworks are well
Lewis
organised.
Chesham standing in front of you.
Yeah. New Year's fireworks are quite organised, whereas obviously, November the 5th or whatever, it's just like people just, there's a chance of death on that day because the firework might just fall over and get you. Whereas I think New Year's more sort of organised, isn't it? You don't really set them off in your back garden or just around the local village.
It's ran slickly.
Yeah. But yeah, New Year, still crap.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Have you made a New Year's resolution?
No.
You have, haven't you? But you just don't want to tell anyone.
No, I actually haven't. I was just thinking then.
Break it.
I was thinking then what I could do off the top of my head. Is there something that I could sort of pluck out?
Lose weight.
Get better
rugby.
Get better at
podcasting.
Stop kicking it. Stop kicking it. Who needs territory in a professional game? But yeah, I'm going for World Rugby head job.
I'm feeling like you've had.
That's mine. I've just decided, Coley. Sorry to interrupt, but let's get some momentum behind this. Brett Robinson.
Yep.
Look out, mate.
So you get the head of World Rugby job.
Yeah.
What's your manifesto to get voted in on? Like, what are you promising?
I better schedule around Christmas and New Year straight away. I reckon I get the players on board immediately.
Well, you're only talking to half the globe there, though, aren't you? Because pretty sure the Southern Hemisphere's off.
Well, no, my point is, I'll give them straight away. I get the players on board, right? Christmas off, New Year's off, no games during those periods.
Yeah.
Which, as you like, obviously represents half.
But they are two of the biggest gates.
They are
in the Northern Hemisphere.
But we'll find a way,
right,
to change it. Summer sport.
Yeah.
Aligned global calendar.
Right.
Six Nations is going to be played in September.
You do realise with summer rugby, most of the games will probably have to be played at 9 o'clock at night.
Why would they do that?
Well, so they're in France, don't they? Because it's really hot.
It doesn't get that hot here.
There is a chance it gets to 30 degrees.
Well, everyone will just have to hydrate.
Do you remember that training when it was like, they had that heat wave a couple of years ago? Was it a couple of years ago? It was literally like 40 degrees. And no one could get in their car because the car steering wheels were so hot.
Is this at Oval Park?
Yeah.
We have, I like to call it the seventh wonder of the world. We have an indoor training, the Dome, at Oval Park, which is basically, in winter you can't use it because it's so windy and
it might blow away. And in summer you can't use it because essentially it's a greenhouse and it's so hot you can't go in there. Sometimes it's colder inside the dome than it is outside because it's been frosted over or something and the sun hasn't like penetrated through. And then in summer, when it's 20 degrees outside, it is 45. I told you to do a Bronco in there. I was supposed to do, the pitch was being relayed and I went to do a Bronco test in there to see where I was at. Marked it out, took my phone in, start. I probably was on for record pace, but my phone then said it was too hot. So I didn't know what time I did at all. So I got like 3 reps into it, probably, I don't know, 3.5 minutes, something like that. And the phone just, it goes like too hot. I was like...
So you never knew. There could have been a personal best.
Probably was going to be, well, it's just stopped.
Right, let's think about this. New Year's resolution, I'm going in to World Rugby. Brett, move over. What am I sorting out? Global calendar I am sorting out.
Right.
I want to do the Six Nations in September and October. The Rugby Championship is also taking part at that point. They then come on...
You said it's summer sport and we're in October.
Well, summer-ish.
Right.
And autumn. They then finish... They come over the Rugby Championship. They then tour. That's when you have the autumn series. Yes?
Yeah.
Just thinking off the top of my head a few things here.
Okay, yeah.
But I've just realised that's not going to work.
Yep.
Okay, so they come over...
Because if we make it a summer sport in this country, that means in the Southern Hemisphere, it's a winter sport.
No, that ties in nicely for them.
Does it?
Yeah, because the only time they need to be over here is in the autumn, and the only other time they need to be there is when the summer tour, when it happens at the moment. But that can change. As in England, as in Northern Hemisphere, summer tours go over there.
So
what about the autumn?
Putting the World Cup at the end of the season?
I would have World Cups. Yeah, I would. I don't know. I'd have it in September, October.
Yeah, which is now the end of your season.
I've got some lashing out to do with Brett.
Yeah, so your summer rugby season. Bear in mind that we currently do 11 months out of 12 of the year.
Yeah, but I can congest it a lot more.
Starting?
It's not... Right, I'm going to start. Right, everyone's got Christmas and New Year's off.
Yeah.
Compulsory.
Yes.
You turn up on like the 5th or 6th of Jan.
Yeah.
Ish. You have a 6-week pre-season.
Right. End of February. So
yeah, season kicks off first.
Everyone knows you want to spend Valentine's weekend in Rome.
First weekend of March.
In an Irish pub.
First weekend of March.
Yeah, everyone knows. No. Much
First weekend of March,
much like Boxing Day is a massive event in this country for sport. Everyone knows the weekend of Valentine's, you're in Rome in an Irish bar watching a Six Nations game.
Yeah, well, that's
what you do.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen now.
Well,
so then you go March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months.
Right.
How many games in the Prem do we need?
Well, that's 6 times 4. 24.
But there's 20 rounds, right?
No.
There's 10 teams.
Yeah.
Home and away.
Yeah.
20 games.
No.
Oh, no. 18 games. Even better.
Right, okay.
Right, 18 games.
Yep.
Then you have your semi and your final.
Yeah. That's 20.
Season's
weeks.
done.
Right.
With a month to spare.
But what are the clubs playing doing for the rest of the...
Gearing up for Christmas.
So the season finishes when? So we started in March, do we?
March, April, May, June, July,
August. So end of August.
End of August. Right. Then the Six Nations happens.
What are club players doing?
Nothing. The same as what the Aussie club players do.
So we're on 6-month contracts, are we?
Yeah, they are. They are.
Right. So also you're saving the game money because you're actually
saving the club money.
Everyone's just going to do 6 months contracts.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, exactly right.
Right. Yeah.
So club players do that.
Yeah.
Their season finishes end of August.
Yeah.
International lads, Six Nations September. Sorry. When did I say the season ended?
End of August.
End of August, sorry.
We're going to have a couple of fallow weeks.
Yeah, and then Six Nations, that again, you don't have a break in between that. It's just 5 straight games.
Right.
So you do that September.
Yeah.
Brings you to like first weekend of October.
Yeah.
You then have 4 weeks leading in to the Autumn Internationals where you play the Southern Hemisphere teams, or you can tour there.
So August, September, October.
November.
4 weeks takes us through November.
Yeah. Then you got time off. December and January.
But so we're going straight from the Six Nations on tour. You said you have 4 weeks lead-in.
Yes, you finish Six Nations.
Which is going to be September, end of October, or middle of October.
And then you have
4 weeks, middle of November.
Well, no, not 4 weeks.
How long are we on tour for?
No, 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks, sorry.
Okay, sorry, yeah, save a week, yeah.
3 weeks
Yeah.
of staying in camp.
Yeah. When's the World Cup coming?
Getting better. What's up?
When's the World Cup happening?
That will replace every 4 years. That will replace the Six Nations tournament and the Autumn Series. sort of around that period.
That makes a lot of money for the unions.
So does the World
We've
Cup.
just seen no, it doesn't though, because we've just seen the results from the previous
Yeah, but I'm now
financial
in
year.
charge, so I'll hand it back to the unions. See, unions are on side. Players are on side.
Right.
My biggest
Well, you've
challenge seems
sorted
to be
it,
you, Mr. Cole.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just think your concept needs a bit of work, mate.
To be continued.
You'll figure
I
it
still
out.
think that rugby, there is an opportunity to have global calendar alignment. I still think there's an opportunity to do it in the summer. And I think there's definitely an opportunity to condense it. Because right now, if you don't do international rugby, the gaps in between are huge. Like February and March, it's like 2 months without a game. Just sits there. It's so hard for people to understand when the Premiership's, when it's on, when it's not on. Like, even Europe now, obviously all the TV change and all that, I think half people don't even know it's happening.
When the Lions played in your global calendar. Speaking of the Lions, Ben.
To be continued,
It's a
Colin.
big year. This year is not only a big year for rugby, it's also a big year for the podcast. Probably bigger for the podcast than for rugby, really, even though we're about rugby.
We have got a huge year, and we haven't even been going a year, Coley. But think of all the things we're looking forward to this season. This calendar year.
We've got Six Nations,
Six Nations.
men's and women's.
And women's.
We have the men's Lions Tour.
Men's Lions Tour.
We also have,
Women's World Cup.
Yep.
On home soil.
yep, England are favourites. And then we've got, obviously, domestic in Europe, domestic leagues and European leagues to sort out. So there's quite a lot going on.
And then by that point, the season starts again. So
And also, in April and May, we're on tour
we are on tour with live shows.
of the London, Midlands and South West regions.
And as of September 25, I will be elected head of World Rugby.
So you better get those. Are you saying that's what our one tour, are you?
Yes, you better get tickets because
better
it could be a
tickets,
one
'cause,
show,
yeah, that's
one
it,
show
man.
only.
One and done. Yeah, perfect.
As you mentioned, Coley, big year. Am I doing the Six Nations without you again? Am I getting Anthony Watson back in?
Well, it was a roaring success, Ben.
He was a roaring success.
January flies by because obviously you have this period. You finish in the autumn. You come back in November. You play Europe, bit of club rugby or a lot of club rugby. Europe Premiership, quite an important time of the year. We then go Christmas, New Year. Then you're back into Europe for a couple of games, and then normally you get whisked away or internationals go away. And this year the Premiership sure shuts down, but like normally it's the sort of middle of Feb or start of Feb where the Six Nations begins, doesn't it?
It's actually beginning this year on the 31st of January. I've just checked.
Is it the first time it's been in January? Must be.
Or don't test my knowledge on that, but it's certainly early, mate.
Hang on.
And you don't quite realise how quickly it comes around.
So we go January. So that's 31st January. That's a Friday. Saturday, Sunday's the 1st, 2nd. So that's the first round of games.
Yes.
Next one will be 7th, 8th weekend. What, Valentine's Day, mate?
It's not happening.
What?
Fallow week.
Should we go to Rome? You and me. Do you want to go? We'll go,
Just for old time's sake.
go to the Colosseum. We'll have a walk around, find an Irish bar. Mate, could you just put on some rugby on YouTube or something to make us feel...
Go for the archive.
Sergio Parise's greatest tries.
Do you know we were last here when it snowed? Did you know that? Did you know that?
Every fucking year it seems to snow in Rome. It was 30 years ago it snowed. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago it snowed.
We could do that actually. We could go to the Colosseum and say we could fall for the old trick which everyone falls for is stand next to some gladiators, some old Romans dressed up, get a photo, have the photo, and then they basically chase you asking for 20 euros.
Yeah. But, as the old saying goes, when in Rome, fuck the rest. So you do what you want in Rome, apparently.
That is actually a throwback from one of our very first episodes, your comment about Rome there.
Yeah, I'm aggrieved this year that we're not going to be in Rome on Valentine's weekend. Because, rugby's it's gone to the dogs. It's just...
And then there's only one man that can step in and change this.
Yeah, true. You.
Correct.
Yeah, but your season starts in March, so it won't help at all.
It doesn't matter. If you think that I'm fit for the job, please comment below and put Lenny for World Rugby.
I think every rugby player should just gather in Rome on the weekend of the 14th or around that time. Valentine's weekend, we should just gather up and all just raise a beer in an Irish bar.
No, outside the Colosseum and then I'll stand up and
Sergio.
pitch my plan about the global calendar and how I'm going to solve all this issues.
Yeah. You've seen Gladiator 2, haven't you? That's what you're really inspired by, I can tell.
I am. Again, like, I hate talking about it too much, but he does this big speech and then they all just like disperse and he stood on the statue like, it's like, okay, that wouldn't happen.
Does he mention the global calendar?
No. But do you
he
think...
stood there, he's like, oh yeah, you can have Christmas, January off. Everyone's like...
Do you know what? Again, talking about a throwback. Here's a throwback.
Yeah.
Right, I do my speech in front of all the players. Yeah. Everyone's loving it.
Yeah.
Right, brilliant. And I'll be like, does anyone have an issue with it? And I'll be like, what's that, 40? I'll be like, does anyone have an issue with it? 40, you speaking up, mate? I'll be like, right, there's the battle that I promised.
Yes.
The battle in Rome, mate. Everyone's there. We'll make a big circle.
Yeah.
I pick up the dirt, rub it in my hands.
40 have his sword and his like, and his hip thing, if he's dragging on the floor behind him.
Oh, let's dish him up.
Yeah. That could be this year's, instead of the rugby, we can have you and 40 in the Coliseum fighting.
Yeah, no,
on
that's
the weekend of the 14th.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Get tickets now.
Actually, speaking of G Ford, our biggest episode of 2024 was our first episode with the man himself, George Ford. So congratulations to George. We'll send him something in the post, like a gladiator outfit.
Or just send him a thumbs up emoji.
Yeah.
I actually told him the news of this, right? And he's like, mate, what does that mean? Mate, what does it mean? I said, what do you mean, what does it mean? It means that you've had the most like no one's listened to that episode more. Like you have
all
number
from
one.
the Saddleworth, Oldham area of
I couldn't work out if he was calculating like, what does that mean, mate? Like, are you gonna give me something? Yeah. Or whether it was just like, or whether he's like, oh, that was a good episode.
He wants to come back on.
But he wants to come back
on.
So 2025, we promised you another episode to that level of the G Ford, which actually then makes you think that we've had a number of very good guests.
Great guests. I think we've had a bad guest.
No, we've not had one bad guest. But like when you think about it, like your Martin Johnsons, your Courtney Laws, your Ellis Genges.
Yeah.
The Genji one was very good.
We had a 2-time World Cup winner on it.
Your Marlers, your Hondre Pollards.
Yeah.
Fremo, George Martin. No, we've had good guests.
Ben, we have an exciting new partner with the podcast.
We do, Thriva.
And Thriva, they are a personalised blood testing subscription service.
That is exactly what they are. And if you go on their website, and it's in the episode description, you get 20% off your first blood test if you use the code LOVEOFRUGBY.
This is really exciting for us because we have discussed it on our travels in our hotel rooms before about it's potentially our last season or two of rugby, and we're winding down. And previously you had your heart issue in the off season, and we've been really interested in not probably maximising our current performance in the future and also our long-term health. And I think this is a way that's going to be beneficial to both of us.
When you think about the blood test, it was a wealth of information when we first started because we didn't get blood tests regularly. And to think now that it actually is really accessible for anyone to go check their health, check their bloods, get that information really quickly and then act upon what they need to do.
Yeah, well, I think early in our careers, we got blood tested made by the national team once a year, but we never actually found out the results of that unless it was something bad. But I say with this, you can go on the website and you get it personalised to your own interests and needs, and B, it will give you it'll show you all the information you need about where your vital statistics are. Well, you get on the website and go on your journey, but also it'll give you every detail that you want to know.
When we obviously first went on the website, we had to do a little quiz.
Yes.
Find out a bit of information about ourselves.
Yep.
Or fill it in. How'd you find that?
Easy.
It was very easy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ranking my diet out of 10, I probably lied a bit, gave myself an 8.
I would say it's very easy, but it only takes probably less than 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
But there is a couple of questions where you're like, how many units of alcohol do you have in a week? You're like,
well,
like as in,
if I was to say,
I meant to be professional.
If I was to say my average week, I would say 0. But if I was to average out the amount I have
on
over
a team
year,
social,
on 4 team socials in the year and average it out per week, it's probably higher than I think it would be.
It was that. And also I was thinking, like, when it said diet, I was thinking, well, I'd just done travelling reserve and I essentially loaded in case someone got ill or pulled a hamstring in the warm-up. Luckily they didn't, but I needed to fuel for that. So again, when the diet bit came up, I was like, yeah, maybe a little bit lapse over the weekend, but
we laugh. But I think actually the thing about this and Thriva is the blood test. They're not trying to make us monks and straight down the line, and it's not just for elite athletes and people who do the right thing 100% of the time. They understand that it's for anybody out there that just wants to get a better picture of their own health. And not everyone's perfect. We're not perfect by a long stretch. And say that's the great thing about this. It just gives you a markers of where you are, and they've got help. We've got doctors online and stuff to help you channel you in the right way to be getting your long-term health or any current health, but in order.
You can track and improve your health. You can make informed decisions about it. You can energize yourself and see where maybe you're falling short. And I think there's a lot of information about try this, do this. Nothing actually gives information better than a blood test. And actually it's incredibly simple, which we will demonstrate shortly.
Well, you say about the way, like, there's no, if you say, look, we're in January, aren't we? And I say, you would look at like how to get healthy in a diet and all that kind of stuff. And you look on the internet and there is 3 trillion diets about no carb, low carb, high carb, low fat, all this kind of, there's almost too much information, and to pick one that works for you. But stuff like this can actually give you, you have a blood test and it will find out where you can sort of specialise, or you can point your interests and what you need to know about where you are, where your vitals are, and what you can actually do about it moving forwards with the advice.
The thing is, Coley, actually, as you mentioned that, is we had a vitamin D test not so long ago, and you were the highest in the club. Now, not many people would have thought that, with all due respect, because, yeah,
you have to think
you're not olive skin. I'd say
when I step outside,
you burn the D just absorbed into redness straight away.
The winter sun just goes straight at me. It was funny because one of the lads asked me, he was like, "Oh my god, you got your vitamin D level so high. What have you been taking?" I was like, "Vitamin D, dumbass." Which put him in his place. But yeah,
it's not the same guy that we bring up a lot, is it?
No, it's not him. No, he doesn't know what vitamin D is, mate.
But the point is because it's custom to you and you can find out information that you want to know about. But equally, like as you said, there's lots of information out there. But if you did something in your lifestyle and change, and I did the same, doesn't mean we get the same results. No. I think this allows you to be very, very personalised and obviously track it because it's a subscription thing.
And also, I say with it, you can get the information that you want. If you want to improve your long-term health, there's that stuff. If you want to improve your sports performance, or you're cycling at the weekend, or whatever it is, you can specialise it. You don't just have to do every test out there. You can specialise in what you need to do and just get what you want to know. And that's vital, because I think sometimes you can get too much information, whereas actually with this you can get the key test that you want to help you, which all comes through the quiz. And you put that into the quiz and stuff like that, and enter the details, and it will personalise it to your needs.
Absolutely, and you can always add on stuff as well. Like I'm very intrigued about testosterone. I'm intrigued about, because obviously the older you get, the more that drops down. Obviously, I'm still lifting in the gym.
Yeah,
big numbers. But that I'm intrigued about. I'm intrigued about metabolism. Doesn't seem to be firing on all cylinders, so I was intrigued about that. But then obviously vitamin D and all those information.
Liver function test after
that's the other one as well.
Yeah. So we're going to do a test, aren't we? Each.
We are.
We've been on the website. We have filled in our details. We've done the quiz. It took 5 minutes, and from that, we were recommended some tests which have been sent out in the post.
The package has arrived.
Which here they are, and now we're going to do them.
The hardest thing so far is actually just been having to fast for 8 hours. But if you do it actually right, just go to bed, wake up, and you can do it first in the morning.
I'm going to read the instructions like I did during Loma Rugby to make sure everything's good. Fast for 8 hours, tick. 2 glasses of water, tick. Do your test Monday to Saturday, tick. Set aside 30 minutes, tick. We need to lay your kit on a table, wash your hands, and then prepare for the testing.
Which arm are you going?
Left.
Yeah, so.
It says 2 minutes. Might chafe all my tan off. Well, it's from June.
No, I've got good flow. I can feel it already.
Fine.
And I'm warm. I'm warm in the studio. It's nice. I'm at a nice temperature. Blood's going to flow out. In fact, it's going to flow out, so I won't be able to stop it.
Right, Ben, we need to prepare our attach auto tube draw device. So we need to open this up.
The joys of having a little look. You can just rest up.
Do not discard. Return your collection to this thing. Right. Do I need to open that?
For people wondering about postage and packaging, that comes with it. Everything is thought of.
Yeah.
Oh, they've even... How thoughtful. got a couple of plasters in there.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to remove the auto draw device from its pack. Boom.
Coley, I'm going for the right arm because the mic's going to block my left arm for the listeners, and I want them to see how simple this is.
How many tubes you got?
2.
2, perfect.
What are we going with first? Because obviously you're doing all the reading of the instructions.
We are going with...
Yellow?
Yes, because the purple tube is last. So we're going purple, yellow. We take the top off. We attach it into the bottom.
I'm good.
There we go. Right.
We just need to give it an alcohol wipe.
Alcohol swab. Right. Position the auto draw device. Just air drying my arm.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you. Right. Remove the clear cover from the red button. Peel off the back. Tab off the back of the device. Stick the device to the upper arm as shown. Do not place over broken skin or an existing wound.
Press that button.
Right. Then it says, fill your tubes. Press the red button down firmly for 2 seconds until you hear a click. Then release. 1, 2. Release. You might feel anything, blood may not appear for 1 to 2 minutes. Set a time for 5 minutes.
Right, arms being cleaned. Plastic cover off. Remove sticker. Apply. I'm applying to upper arm. I'm going to press down for 2 seconds, Colin.
Yep.
Does it hurt?
No.
Good. Ah. Does it actually hurt?
No.
All right.
Do it.
1, 2. Doesn't hurt at all, does it?
No.
And now wait.
Yeah.
Now we wait. Coley, that's incredibly simple and easy,
Yeah.
I've got to say.
And now we just got to sit here.
Coley, blood is flowing out the arm.
Thought it would.
The tube is filling up.
Good.
Do we have a target?
Yellow, we need to the 600 line.
Excellent. And for the pink, what are we looking for?
Purple, we're going 250.
I see it as pink. You see it as purple. Interesting.
I'm reading the instructions.
Correct.
I did think it was a little pinkish though.
It's flowing up nicely now, isn't it? No issues.
Because I'm hydrated and warm. Whilst we're here, 5 minutes, I'm just going to check the full of rugby email section.
I'm flowing.
Are you all right?
I have flow.
We've got a message from Big Finn. He says, where will England finish in the Six Nations?
Well, my predictions have been horrendous.
Yeah. So could you say like 6th?
Yeah. I got all the Blues at home. I genuinely think that they can beat Ireland away. And therefore, I think England have a great chance. I don't think there'll be any Grand Slams this year. I don't see a team winning a Grand Slam. So therefore, it comes down to bonus points, something like that. So I'm not answering the question, but I genuinely think England have a big chance to win it.
Question from Abby. Will the Red Roses win the World Cup?
I think they will win the World Cup. I think the Red Roses will definitely win the World Cup, actually. I liked how much Canada pushed them last year. Part of me thinks that perhaps they needed a game like that where they haven't been tested. And this is my Leinster theory a little bit, which I've spoken about before, and I've said about the Red Roses as well, is because they seem to dominate everyone, that actually when they're suddenly in a game that they've got to win and all that, it's like, oh, we haven't been here before and haven't necessarily got the solutions to kind of sort it out. So Canada pushed them close, which will give them confidence. I would like to have seen England in this Six Nations be pushed a couple of times, just because I think it's important. Leading into World Cup, you don't want to wipe the floor with everyone, so that when you get to the tournament and then suddenly you're in a knockout game, the game's really tight. You want to be battle hardened for it. You want to have scenarios where you've had to win tough, you've had to win when not playing particularly well, you've had to come up with solutions. So I hope the Six Nations they have a couple of games which challenges them, but I absolutely believe they can win on home soil. I have no doubt that they can capable of it. The Canada game just sort of highlighted that, because no one really does push them, that when they do, there was a few cracks.
I'm flowing nicely. What level are you at there, Ben?
Considering I did mine 2 minutes after you, I think I've overtaken you. It just shows what great blood flow I have.
I'm getting in 600 now. What are you at?
I can't see, but trust me, it's with a new heart, mate. This thing's pumping around, no problems.
A question from Jamie is, who's going to be the Lions player of the series?
That is very hard to predict or know. Thing is, you look at the history of the Lions, there's always a couple of players that sort of come out of nowhere.
Bolters.
Yeah, late bolters that may not necessarily, not late bolters in terms of like haven't established themselves, but in terms of maybe go on the tour and then play so incredibly well that they end up forcing them away into the test team that perhaps they weren't going to be deemed to be in the test team. So it's hard to know. Like, it's hard to predict that. I think that it's going to be the most competitive Lions squad that's ever picked. But if I was to go off current form, off the back of like, think World Player nominee was Caelan Doris, and I tip him to be Lions captain, as a lot of people do. So I can't look too much further than him.
Flo, I'm nearly at 600. Perfect. So I can remove this one.
Shows the techers. Voila.
Cap on. Hold still. Oh, it's down there. Cap 2. Oh no. Cap 2. Inserted.
You got to repress it.
Yeah. For 1 second this time. Perfect. And yellow. We need to turn the tube upside down at least 10 times. Your blood will become thicker and solidify and won't mix with the yellow gel. 1, 2, 3.
Have you ever done the PRP when they
Yeah.
coming back from injury?
Yeah.
That's quite a interesting thing, isn't it, what they do? Now that you're spinning that tube, it's made me think of the spinning the blood.
Yeah.
I had one in my knee, actually, and it was incredibly uncomfortable.
I had some in my Achilles.
Oh,
And I went down.
That makes
and
me...
I got off the train at St Pancras and the doctor was in Shoreditch. Unfortunately, he was a tube strike on. So I had to walk to Shoreditch, got the injections in my Achilles, and then had to walk back to the train station. Because I couldn't get... Because all the Ubers were booked, all the taxis were done, so I basically had to walk back. So I hobbled back, missed my train, had to buy another train, because it cost, And, well, my Achilles actually been all right, but that was a pain in the arse.
For those that people don't know, that is when... So sometimes if you're injured, there's a thing called PRP that they do, which they take the blood out of you, they put it in like a tube, spin it at incredible rate, and then it creates...
It separates the blood out.
And you get
it
plasma.
Yeah.
And then they inject the plasma. Then
And they take...
Is that right?
No, it's platelets. They take the red blood cells and inject them, I think. They take the plasma out of it and then inject the red blood cells into your wound, which should therefore encourage healing, I believe.
I had it in my knee, Coley, and because there's like no room in there for it to go, as they're like injecting it, oh my gosh, that wasn't enjoyable.
Imagine
Hey, I think I've hit my target.
in your
Laurie.
Achilles. You give it quite a...
There we go.
I'm not sure this one's doing much. Right.
Let's get this one done, Coley, because I've ordered brunch for us
Perfect.
because we're starving. There we go. Second one's in. No issues. Got to spin my blood. I nearly forgot.
Yes.
Coley, I'm just tracking our brunch and it's en route.
Brilliant. It should be done in...
And it should be here any minute, which is great.
We'll be
that's
done in
perfect.
any minute.
Right, let me spin it. 1, 2, 3. Could really do with getting a few family members, some of these.
And you can, Ben, go to the Thriva website, or they could listen to this, watch this, click the link in the episode description, and they could use the code Love of Rugby and get 20% off for their first test.
Coley, we better give the listeners an idea of actually, we are going to share our results with them.
Yeah, I'm going to vet them first to make sure they're all above board, and then...
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, we're going to do this for 6 months, aren't we? So we're going to have 2 more tests. We're going to speak to the experts, and we're going to find out where recommendations can be made.
And see where we can
It
improve.
would be great YouTube viewing if one of us had a massive health problem in the meantime. But you can do that if you want.
I'm okay, thanks.
Okay.
Hello, mate.
Hey, come deliver.
Yeah, perfect. We're just coming outside now to grab it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Brunch is here, Coley. Perfect timing.
Okay. Question from Timmy P. If Leicester don't win the Champions Cup, who will?
So I reckon it will be... You can't look past Leinster or Toulouse. Leinster's recruitment, Toulouse is still the way they play. I love it. We'll obviously face them very soon, actually, Coley. And then if I think of like some couple of wild cards, Bordeaux on their day, potentially. And then you look at La Rochelle. I'd say it's French teams, really, more than anyone. Actually, to be fair, the Bulls... all the Sharks, depending on where they play their route to the finals. What about yourself? I've listed a few there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've narrowed it down to 10 teams.
Top 10 teams.
Who do I think? You obviously can't look past Toulouse. And again, as you say, I think the French teams, Bordeaux, they're second in the league, or have been recently. They got some great... They're almost... Not so they don't play finals rugby, but if you give them a sniff, as we found out, they're very good at scoring on counter-attack, and they've got some brilliant players. Leinster, obviously, class all the way through. Let's talk about the South African teams not always going full strength for the Champions Cup. So that'll be interesting. The travel will obviously... That could... pays into them. But yeah, that's how you can't look past Toulouse, La Rochelle, Leinster, as you say. It's kind of narrowed down. Mine's at the 250 line, Ben. So whilst I'm removing this, what are your thoughts on Bordeaux? The place as well as the team?
I liked the place. Very nice city. I enjoyed it. Great crowd, great atmosphere. Obviously the club.
The atmosphere's phenomenal again. It was
the turnout was mega. The walk underneath it felt gladiator-esque, because you basically walk for about half a mile. Bit exaggerated. But you certainly walk for about...
It's a
long walk from the change rooms. You go underneath the whole stand all the way until you get to, obviously, the tunnel.
Yes. It's and I say the crowd was... We weren't playing that day, so we actually got showered after the warm-ups. But we were kind of like, oh, what's the score? And it went quiet, and Leicester scored. And then within literally, as we started walking out, the place boomed, and we're like, Bordeaux have scored, have they? And lo and behold, they had.
Coley, why are you...
Ben, on my purple tube, I've just had to swirl it round for about 20 seconds to make sure that the blood touches the sides of the tube.
Right, how are you taking off the device?
I'm going to follow the instructions, Ben. I've just packed my cases away. I'm now going to put them in here. I'm going to pack my packing form, put both the return box and the return form in the prepaid envelope that is the address labelled on it. Right,
Coley, you need to remove that. I'm nearly done.
I will peel it away, apply the gauze to stop my healthy blood flow.
For those listening, there's some reasons why you may want to test your blood. Detect potential health issues before they become problems. Optimize your energy level and daily performance. Make informed decisions about your lifestyle. I think that's very important. Track and improve your key health markers. Add healthy years to your life.
Right, Ben, once I've applied my plaster, I'm going to put the tubes in the box, seal the box up, put my returns for 4 minutes with the time at which you took these tests, and then we're going to put it in the bag and put it in the post box. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll get our results.
Yeah, and actually it's worth mentioning, you have an app. There's an app that comes with it, so you can track everything. It'll tell you where it is, when it's being tested in the lab, get all your information. It's very, very simple. It's got its own personal app, so everything is on there. Extremely easy to follow and get in the information. It's worth mentioning, just as you've done it, follow the paper instructions, because I've essentially let you do it all and just copied it.
Yeah.
But please follow the instructions.
Well, the instructions are simple enough. You just have to read through them and then follow stage by stage. Like we've done it, successfully got 2 blood samples which send it off. So it's easy enough. We've even done it in the pressure of the studio lights, and it's been a success. It would be great if we had a bin to safely dispose of this stuff.
It would be.
And like magic, a bin appears.
Right, I'm done. I've got both my samples.
Wouldn't
That's
it be
going
great
on.
if we had a kilo of gold?
Click that in. Swirl. Have you got a pen, by the way? I just need to fill it in. Fill it in. Actually, it's worth mentioning, if you do forget to label them, don't label them correctly, then your results won't be processed. So make sure you label them correctly. That is important.
And how do I get a kit, Ben?
You get a kit by going on our episode description or, of course, going on their direct website.
You're on the Thriva.co website.
Then you go on there and you put in the code Love of Rugby. You will receive 20% off. Right, thanks to our new partners, Thriva. Not only will I be turning up at the Coliseum to present to the players, but I'll be turning up in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, but imagine if they told you you are now in peak physical condition.
What?
This is as good as imagine this is as good as you'll ever be.
Imagine that. Yeah, I hit all my markers and above. I'll be like, what?
Yeah, mate, you're out. You are the picture of health. Like,
well, then that would be very good news.
Yeah.
We've got another question from a Finn. Very popular name, it seems.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever played in a game or heard of where a player has deliberately dropped the ball or thrown a forward pass to have a scrum because the team is so dominant in the scrum that they know they'll get a penalty? Have I seen someone deliberately drop the ball or throw a forward pass?
No. But the only thing I can really think of...
I've seen front rows drop the ball and not be bothered about dropping it and be like, yeah, fine, what's a scrum? But not intentionally drop it.
No, the only thing I can really think of along those lines, it was, there's a game on YouTube, which I think is Bordeaux-Begley versus Toulon. It's like the quarterfinal of the French Cup, and it's from like the 90s or 80s, something like that. And I believe, I can't remember, Toulon apparently been talked up. Their scrum has been dominant all year. And I think Bordeaux-Begley basically go there. Their front row, their pack basically lines up on the centre spot, and they kick the ball straight out in the first... the kick-off, they kick it straight out to have the scrum back.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's like this face-off, isn't there, where the ref just steps in, and I think it's a free kick or penalty on the first scrum. But after that, watch the highlights of that game.
I've seen them. Oh. I think I sent them to you. It is absolute carnage. Yeah. It is absolute carnage. Imagine that, though.
That's the only time that I can think of it, whereas like, because obviously if you deliberately knock the ball on, you probably get a chance of getting penalised. And then, like, That's only the other one I can think of is like when South Africa caught the ball in the quarterfinal of the World Cup and basically said, if they marked it and went, yeah, we'll take the scrum.
Yeah.
And then that law's been changed now. But in answer to Finn's question, no, I've never seen someone deliberately drop it or forward pass it to have the scrum.
I have ran around in a game before, though, being so like knackered, being like, please, someone just fucking drop the ball. So they can have a rest.
Hold my beer.
So what I tend to do is get to the ruck and then look for my old mucker.
Correct.
Don't worry about it, mate.
And if he's not ruck inspecting, he'll happily knock it on.
We got a question from George. What is the best individual performance you have ever had?
Oh, George. I'd like to think the World Cup semi-final, right? Because against Africa, that kind of stuff, the scrum went well, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't touch the ball or make a tackle in that game. So in some regards, it's perfect. But I actually did fucking nothing in that game. I did nothing. Nothing.
You know, you locked it out. You locked it out for 60 minutes.
It's taken me, a year and a half to let the rugby public know this. But I got a lot of praise that game and I did nothing in it. So therefore, it's not that game. But
well, you locked horns and you held your own in the scrum. Yeah. You're right. You didn't make one tackle.
I didn't do nothing.
And you didn't catch the ball once.
I came off the field like I've done
How many
nothing.
rucks?
I don't think that many. I don't think I did it. I can't remember clearing anyone out or doing anything.
Oh, that's actually gold. So almost, is your greatest individual performance
right? My greatest
the fact
individual
that you didn't have to do it, like as in you didn't have to.
Do you remember when we played Wasps? It's before I got capped. I mean, like 2010, around this time of year. I think we were the only game on. The pitch was frozen. They bring in the touchlines, and our scrum basically went really well. Mainly because I think Marcus Yertz was playing loose head, and Lottie Takiri scored twice. And I think that was the first time I ever won man of the match. That's the only time we've won man of the match. Held Tim Payne up in the corner. Do you remember that game?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, that was mine, and that was 20 years ago. So I've been shit ever since, basically.
So you've had a stormer in 2010. Yeah. You've had 13 years later. You've had a stormer, but turns out you actually touched the ball.
Like, it's obviously like the whole thing is like perception is like reality. People perceive you have a good game, and actually you've been shit. But yeah, I've just ruined it for everyone. Anyway, yours. What's your best ever game?
It's hard to top that, Coley.
Maybe Fiji opening game of the World Cup.
Fiji opening game of the World Cup. Oh my God, that's genius, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, boys. Big start. Yours.
Don't let the ball bounce.
Oh my God.
Don't let the ball bounce.
Probably the most enjoyable, like, I've had probably 2010, we played Australia at home.
Yeah.
Ashley scored that try.
Yes.
That one. Christ, actually. Now we think about it.
Yeah.
We're going back a long time. Then we played France in the 2015 Six Nations.
Right.
And it was a real high scoring game.
Was that home?
It was at home.
55-35, something like that.
That one as well.
Vincent Debatti basically scored a worldie.
He did.
Finished a worldie.
It's not about him, mate.
It is.
Questions about my individual performance, not Debatti's.
Yeah.
That one, and then there was. Did we play? I think we played Australia again, and I dummied fibs and at home. Don't like talking about it.
Yeah.
You name two, I name three.
Right. On that note of basically,
it was very hard for us to figure out.
We've basically turned into those old pundits that basically were legends back in the day when
25 years ago.
When people couldn't remember how actual shit they were. So that's you and me.
But trust me, I had a stormer once in the under 16 county cup final.
Honestly, I was really good once. Really? Have you got any proof of that? No. Don't look into it either. But yeah.
Just take our word for it.
Yeah, why not? On Monday's pod, we're back with the one and only Tom Tombleson, who it's a great conversation with him, all regarding, well, bits we spoken about on this pod.
Performance, getting ready for games, highly tuned athletes, everything like that. Great guy, been involved with a lot of high performing teams, mainly England for a long time. Legend, so look forward to that.
What's his job title?
His job title is the absolute GOAT of S&C / high performance.
Yeah, so lots of January lessons. If you are on a health kick or health drive,
Do your bloods.
do your bloods, and you listen to our episode with Tom Tombleson.
There you go.